What's up with it, y'all? It's EJO, BizZNesS. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy my reaction. Alright, you guys. So there's a lot of times, there's been times I've done documentaries that I just wanted to do it on South Africa. And it seemed like everything that came up was always Cape Town. It was always Cape Town. It got to the point I'm just like, damn, man, it's like everything I watch is Cape Town. So I'm gonna check this out right here. All right, it said how Cape Town became the murder capital, and I looked it up. Cape Town, I saw it number for cities in the world. I saw Cape Town number 11 2 times, and then I saw 8. You know, so number 8 and number 11. Then there was on Wikipedia, it was like in the top 50. They have 3 cities in South Africa. It's there South Africa. It's Cape Town, Durban, and Nelson Mandela Port. I think that's what they said. All right. Anyways, let's check this out. All right. So this is the first time we're watching something where it's just strictly on Cape Town. Because just like I said, it's like a lot of documentaries or things I was watching is
Cape Town is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It's also one of the most dangerous.
We're taking a closer look at a wave of deadly violence sweeping across Cape Town, South Africa.
Over the past decade, a lethal mix of gangs and guns has caused a surge in the murder rate.
Certainly in many areas there is a crisis.
The lid has just been taken off the boiling kettle and it's boiling over.
Last year, more than 3,000 people were murdered here. The number has doubled in a decade. In some areas, the situation is so volatile that emergency services refuse to enter. How did Cape Town reach crisis point?
Obviously I want everybody to tell me how you guys feel about this. You know how you guys feel. Shit, man. I guess people in Cape Town, man, let me know, man. How you guys, just everywhere, whoever's been out there, you know, just this is just sad, period. But I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. Never mind. I want you guys to tell me how you guys feel about this. If you guys live in Cape Town, if you have people out there, if you go out there a lot, tell me if you see this, if you have experienced it, you know, if you lived in areas like this, you know. So hit me up, let me know though. All right, y'all. So about to go back to this once again. You know, leave me a comment, let me know. All right, so let's go. What?
So guys, we're just gonna quickly do the update of the weekend. About 7 people were shot. 5 males, 1 female and 1 child was shot.
Pastor Craven Engel runs a pioneering project called Ceasefire, based in one of the most violent areas of the city, Hanover Park.
It's happening now, where civilians get shot. Then this can happen to anyone.
Craven and his team monitor gang violence in the district and, where possible, step in to calm things down.
Well, a busy day can easily be 17 incidents of violence in the area and multiple shots of more than about 60 shots fired there.
The team is made up of reformed gang members.
We started out by using guys that we recruited from the street and we helped them to recover. We trained them strategically to go and help their own kind.
They're known as the Interrupters.
But thanks, guys. The violence interrupter is at the front end of the violence, but it must also be a credible messenger in the community and credible with the gangs. Just down here, we had a shooting here about 5 minutes ago. And there another shot's being fired.
The Interrupters use a technology called Shot Spotter. It employs sophisticated acoustic sensors set up across the area to detect and locate gunfire incidents in real time.
There's a shot coming in here. We can go to the area where it's been fired. And this is how it is in our community here. Shots get fired, incidents happen, life goes on as normal.
Craven's project is based in an area of the city known as the Cape Flats, a patchwork of townships southeast of the city centre. Last year, nearly 2,500 people were murdered in these townships, almost 80% of the city's total homicides.
In other parts of Cape Town, particularly the wealthier middle-class areas, the murder rate has remained relatively stable or is non-existent. It's highly unequal in terms of the distribution of murder.
It's been estimated that there are 93 gangs in Cape Town with 100,000 members.
Wow.
These criminal gangs are particularly well organised, but also particularly violent.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh, wow.
They are rooted into the community with a system that's in place.
What's been happening in Cape Town in the past few years has been an intensification in gang conflict.
Commercial.
Over the past decade, this conflict has been fueled by deadly weapons.
The key issue in South Africa in terms of the murder rate has been the influx of high-powered firearms into Cape Town.
Many of these guns aren't coming from criminal networks, but from the police. In 2016, Chris Prinsloo, a former police colonel, pleaded guilty to selling 2,400 guns to an arms dealer who sold them on to gangsters.
It emboldened specific gangs, and those gangs then started to take on others and rarely escalated the gang conflict to the stage of a war.
Investigators have linked more than 1,000 murders to these firearms, including 261 cases in which children were victims. Under previous President Jacob Zuma, police corruption became endemic. On the ground, gangs recruit corrupt officers who provide tip-offs about raids.
This is taking place in the context of high-level corruption. Senior police officials indicate that there has been some form of collusion between individuals within the ruling party and those in the criminal underworld.
In Cape Town, the murder rate has risen from 44 to 73 people per 100,000 in 10 years. It's now more than twice that of Johannesburg. One study found it was the 11th most murderous city in the world, not including places that are too chaotic to count the bodies. The crisis in Cape Town is the result of a toxic mix of factors, the roots of which go back more than half a century.
Violence in Cape Town also has particularly strong historical driving factors. The city is particularly divided socially and spatially.
In the 1960s, the apartheid regime forcibly removed mixed-race people, known in South Africa as coloured, from the inner city centre.
The forced removals saw them being dumped in Cape Flats and having to establish new communities.
Police rarely investigated the murders of people who weren't white. Their neglect allowed criminals to terrorise these black and coloured townships.
In these particular contexts, you saw gangs flourish. Conditions in many of these communities haven't changed that much.
Today, the area still suffers deep-rooted socio-economic problems. In one precinct, Philippi East, 93% of households were victims of crime in 2016.
You can never cluster so much people in such a small space together with no economic development, with no recreation, with no job creation. It's a recipe for self-destruction.
40% of young South Africans are unemployed. President Cyril Ramaphosa calls it a national crisis.
Apartheid is still happening in its own way. The white-only sign has disappeared, but the violence...
Let me pause that. Alright, so after this is over, I gotta tell you about somebody who I met from Cape Town. Alright?
The negativity, the opportunities, nothing has come the way of this community.
Gordon was in a gang from the age of 12. After spending almost a decade in prison, he left the gang 7 years ago to become an interrupter for ceasefire. Today, he's returned to the
Another commercial. Alright, here we go.
township where he grew up.
This is my world. This is where I come from. You can see there's no opportunities, no privileges, no nothing. The only survival key inside of here is be a gangster, become a drug dealer. At the age of 12 years old, they shot my one brother there in front.
How common is it for people just to drop out of gangs out there? How common is that? Because, you know, like out here, like it's hard to just drop out of a gang, you know? So let me know. Like basically it's like you're in it for life. So, okay.
The other one, they shot him inside. Right there by it, right there is where I did my first murder. We grew up with the heart of stone, like we got nothing to lose.
When he was a gangster, it was Gordon's job to recruit children to join his gang, known as the Mongrels.
This is the only way to make the game continue, to recruit kids, you know.
But since he started working for Ceasefire, he's focused on preventing children from getting involved in gang culture.
You know, rolling with these little kids, just want to be example to them, make them believe you don't need to be a gangster or a drug dealer or drug addict. You can travel the world. I can be the example, you know, and show example to all the kids. You know, it will be amazing.
Ceasefire has so far helped 700 gangsters like Gordon to leave their old life behind and become community activists. But there's only so much a small charity can do.
Programs like ourselves and many others will make a dent, but that dent will soon, disappear.
Ceasefire is one of the tools for bringing down violence, and it can be particularly effective if it's linked to other sorts of interventions. The problem, certainly in Cape Town, is that there has been an absence of those sort of interventions. They've sort of been scattered across the city, and so they aren't particularly effective.
South African authorities are taking steps to tackle the crisis. In 2018, they set up a specialised anti-gang unit tasked with bringing down violent gang crime in the city.
I want to give a very clear and stern warning to gangsters. Your days are numbered.
Last year, with the death toll escalating, they even sent the army onto the streets of Cape Flats. Under Mr. Ramaphosa, the South African government is also trying to replace corrupt police and prosecutors with clean ones. Yet the murder rate continues to rise. Bringing law and order to a place like Cape Flats will take time.
South Africa is continually creating perpetrators of violence, particularly young men who will use violence against each other or use violence in intimate relationships against their wives, against their girlfriends, against their children. We need to do something very seriously about trying to prevent violence against children and work with families, particularly families that are at high risk of this violence happening.
South Africa needs more jobs, better policing, and a cultural shift among young men. Apartheid left a legacy of violence. It may take South Africa decades to overcome it. If you enjoyed this film and want to see more, then take a look at our film on Mandela's legacy in South Africa. You can find that linked in the description.
Woo, she's pretty. All right. So, for the people that watch this, if you live in Cape Town, I hope you didn't get upset. Only reason why I said that is I did a video before, and I think there was somebody, I think it was a girl, but she left a comment and said it was like really hard for her to watch it because how, she's from Cape Town. But so here, check this out. I was a Lyft driver, and I wonder, do you guys have Lyft or Uber out there? Sorry, I'm not trying to be stupid, and I don't know if you guys do. If you guys don't know what it is, it's basically you have your own car and you're a taxi, except. Anyways, so I picked up somebody in San Francisco, and I was taking him to the airport, and I was like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to Cape Town. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, man, I really want to go there. And like the guy, he was white, He was white, but then he didn't look white. He didn't look colored either. But anyways, I said that, and he was like, why? I was like, what do you mean why? He was like, why you want to go there? I was like, man, I heard a lot about it. I heard it's real nice, da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, oh, he's like, I guess. So right when he said that, I was like, damn, what made him say that? You know, but, you know, it's whatever, you know. So, let me know how you guys feel about that right there. I ended up doing a documentary review. I think it's called Under Siege. I think that's what it is. And it showed like a lot of messed up things. Like they showed like there was a guy like going on tour, basically taking people to the hood, you know, and letting people just go in their houses, you know. And then he was taking people to a freaking they took people to a school and had the people meet some kids and like giving the kids hugs and kisses, and it's like child porn, you know, stupid. But let me know how you guys feel about this. All right, so how Cape Town became a murder capital.